Did you know that a cigarette contains more than 7,000 chemical compounds? How about that 250 of these chemicals are known to be harmful, and at least 69 are known to cause cancer? We need to be more supportive of tobacco prevention. In order to see how tobacco works, we will first look at what it does to the user, next, how it affects us, and finally, ways we can prevent smoking in our community. So let's begin by looking at how it affects the user. A big problem that smokers deal with today is how much it affects their bank accounts. Cigarettes are not cheap, and the prices are constantly getting higher. Michael Amato, Raymond Boyle, and Betsy Brock talk about an interesting tax method that is being used in an attempt of tobacco control in their article, Higher Price, Fewer Packs. They said that in 2013, Minnesota increased the tax on cigarettes by $1.75. This is the largest U.S. state increase since 2000. They are hoping to decrease the amount of packs being sold by raising the price. The truth is that this is happening in states all around the country. Since 2002, Nebraska has raised the tax on cigarettes by 64 cents. With the prices getting higher, the annual cost of cigarettes are also increasing. The average smoker smokes about 2 to 3 packs a week. For a Nebraskan, this adds up to $800 spent a year on cigarettes. Now, let's say the Nebraskan smokes from the time they are 18 to the time they are 80. This will add up to being $50,000 spent on cigarettes alone in their lifetime. Prices are only going to continue to get higher. Cigarettes also affect your body and appearance. In an article called Drugs Plus Your Body, featured in the January 2013 issue of the Scholastic magazine, some effects of cigarettes are given. It talks about how it can cause discolored teeth or even tooth loss. It also affects your skin, causing it to wrinkle or age earlier. Hair loss has also taken place in some cases. Nicotine has been connected to about 90% of all lung cancers. Researcher Rebecca Siegel looks at a study done that links death to cigarettes. About 48% of the 346,000 deaths are caused from smoking. Cancer can range from your mouth, throat, lungs, esophageal, or even skin cancer. Can you believe that nearly a half of the deaths caused by all cancers are because of tobacco use? This puts users in a major risk for diseases and body appearance changes. Now, can you imagine being addicted to something such as smoking and having your friends and family be against you doing it? Because oftentimes this is the case for tobacco users. If a smoker is aware that their peers do not approve of them smoking, they may feel they need to hide their hand with a cigarette or sneak around in order to continue doing it. This can result in being an exhausting task, but a lot of times they don't have a lot of other options if they don't want to quit. Nicotine use can go to your head and cause you to act in ways that you normally wouldn't or do things that you normally wouldn't. It is an addiction, and it can cause you to show different sides of yourself. So now that we have looked at how it affects the user, let's begin talking about how it affects us. As we all know, secondhand smoke is a very bad thing. In the June 2015 issue of the Hospitals and Health Networks magazine, it says that nearly a fourth of Americans are exposed to secondhand smoke regularly. Over 42,000 deaths are caused from secondhand smoke of non-smokers. After 20 minutes of secondhand smoke exposure, your blood starts to clot and build up fat deposits in your blood vessels that can increase your chance of a stroke or heart attack. And after 2 hours, an increased chance of an irregular heartbeat. I think at some point we have all been exposed to secondhand smoke. These are just a few of the major dangers that it brings us. Along with that, most people can't stand to be around it. It has a terrible odor and causes you to feel gross after inhaling it. A lot of times people will avoid going certain places where they know there might be a smoker standing outside. We shouldn't have to limit where we feel safe going in our town because of another person's decision. Not only does it make it hard on us, but also the environment we live in. Mark Mahoney gives some environmental effects in his article on the Tallahassee Democrat. He says that in the U.S. alone, 280 billion cigarettes are purchased a year, which end up being littered in our waterways, parks, sidewalks, and roads. They also release toxic chemicals that harm our ecosystems. They are mostly contained of plastic that is not biodegradable, so we are dealing with these chemicals for the long run. This can be harmful for everyone that is breathing in the air and being around this litter. So now that we have looked at how smoking can affect us, let's look at ways that we can prevent tobacco use in our communities. Joining a tobacco prevention group is a great way to get started and learn new ideas. I recently went to a training done with the No Limits group, which is a tobacco prevention group here in Nebraska. They travel all over spreading their word and giving ideas of how other people can help. They even got the chance to go talk to senators and give their reasons of why they should ban smoking in parks, which is their major focus. They inspired me to do something to help, which is why I am glad to have the opportunity to talk to you today. We can use ways of activism to help stop tobacco use. A few of my favorites include human billboards, candy giveaways, and a celebrity graveyard. Human billboards is basically making posters with catchy phrases on them and holding them up somewhere in your town in order to get attention. One that my friend and I made said, "Blow bubbles, not smoke." Candy giveaways can be getting a small piece of candy, such as a Jolly Rancher, and attaching it to a piece of paper with a fact about smoking, of how it harms us and the users. This helps get people's attention because you're giving them something that they want, the candy, and we're able to spread our message by giving them the piece of paper. A celebrity graveyard is something a little bit more complex. You would have to make up these little tombstones and put them up somewhere in your town, and label them with people who have died from tobacco use, such as Marilyn Monroe, Babe Ruth, or John Candy. The best part about this is knowing that these ways of activism are helping. Katie Schubert says in her 2015 talk on the KIOS radio station that 6.7 Nebraskans have reported smoking this year, compared to the 16% in 2003. It looks like all the tax laws and restriction of public smoking is working in our state. So as you can see, there are many negative effects that come with smoking that they result in, and there's lots of things that we can do to help. We were able to see this by first looking at what smoker does to the user, next by seeing how it affects us, and finally looking at ways that we can stop tobacco use. So we can go on to keep listening about all the ways that tobacco harms us and the people we love, or we can choose to take a stand and do what we can as individuals to fight this problem.